hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs for you. The theme today is love letters. I have 16 love letter DIYs, and the first one is my brand new wreath that I just made for Valentine's Day. I'm going to use one of these square wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. They are 14 by 14 inches, and they are arched a little bit, but I want mine to be more flat. So I'm trying to push down like the middle bar and try to flatten it a little bit. I want to see if I can make this look like a love letter. I had this idea. I thought it would be really fun to try. Now, before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and make a hanger out of just some twine, just tying it here on the middle bar, just so I won't have to try to add that later. And I want to make it look like a open envelope. So I want something that's going to go up at the top that makes it look like the envelope's open, and something that will make it stay open. So I'm going to use one of the flexible cutting mats from the Dollar Tree. It's just the right size to have it kind of on its side like that. So I just kind of measure it and cut it down. I am going to be using a fun material for the inside of the love letter envelope, but I think that this is going to make it stand up for the wreath, since it's going to be kind of like defying gravity hanging on the door. I just trim it down until it is the perfect size. And this is what I'm going to use for the inside of the envelope. It is a placemat from the Dollar Tree. Probably for leftover from Christmas or New Year's, but it's gold and it's glittery and I love it. I guess you could always use scrapbook paper too if you wanted like a glittery background. I know they have a lot of those at Dollar Tree, depending on what color scheme you want. I really liked the gold for this. I thought that'd be really fun. I just lay the cutting mat that I cut down to size onto it so I can go ahead and cut it down. These are made out of that rubbery placemat material, so super easy to cut. And I just left the bottom round edge on it like that because I do need kind of a back to the envelope, because what I want to do is I want to make it look like an open love letter that I can actually put things down inside of. So I kind of want to make a pocket. Now, to attach them together, I was afraid hot glue might melt the placemat, so I decided to use the Dollar Tree's tacky glue. I just went all over with a good coating on the back. The only problem with doing it this way is it did take a while to dry. That step, another glue might have been a little bit faster, but I think it'll be sturdy for a wreath form for my front porch. So this is what it's going to do. It's going to be an open envelope, so it'll be sticking out of the top of the square wreath form. To attach it, I'm just using hot glue on the top of the frame. I do craft on a silicone mat, so it makes it really easy to do this project. Otherwise, you might need to kind of flip it over first to be able to DIY it. But I wanted to try to get it glued on there as well as I could. And let me show you, if you don't have a silicone mat, it is like the greatest for crafting. I do have mine linked in my Amazon shop in the description below. You will love it if you haven't tried one. Now, I did think it probably needs a little bit more reinforcing, so I'm also going to add some duct tape back here. Doesn't really matter. You're not going to be able to see it back here, but I thought that would make it a little bit stronger. I don't want that part of the envelope falling off because it's kind of important, the very top of it, right? Now, these are the materials we're going to use to make the envelope. I found this great like red crushed velvet fabric at the Dollar Tree, and the reason I chose this one is that it's large enough to cover a 14 by 14 wreath form. A lot of times these special fabrics at the Dollar Tree are only about 12 inches wide, but this is going to work perfectly. I do need to make a cutout though to make it look like the envelope is open. So I'm going to take the other flexible cutting board that I have there and kind of do kind of reverse of what I did before so I can have the envelope be open. Just trying to make sure I know exactly where I want that to be on the fabric. So I kind of saved the spot and I just decided to cut a hole in there so I kind of wouldn't get lost on that spot while I go to cut this out. Again, I'm just using that cutting board. It's got the great rounded corners on it. like an envelope would have. So I thought that would work out well. I lay that on the back of the fabric and I'm just using a Sharpie, kind of sketch that out so I will know exactly where to cut this one down. I want to go ahead and cut it down first because I want to trim it out so it doesn't have like an edge on it like this that's, kind of roughly cut. And it's going to be easier to add the trim before I add it to the wreath form itself. So that looks pretty good. I can have excess material everywhere else. This is the lace trim that I got at the Dollar Tree to trim this out. I really wanted something white, and I think this is going to be perfect. I guess you could also use like macrame cord or rope or something like that too, but I was going fancy with this love letter wreath, so I thought that this would make it look a little bit fancy too. I'm just going to attach it here to the opening of the envelope just to make it pretty and to close up, that rough edge. I just go ahead and cut it down to size. I'm also going to be using the same lace ribbon for the bottom part of the envelope to kind of map it out a little bit to make it look like an envelope. Ideally, if I had a rectangle wreath form, that would be the best, but all Dollar Tree has is a square, but we're going to make it work. I do the same thing here on the other side, just going ahead and hot gluing those first. It kind of looks like I'm making clothes. It's kind of like a V-neck, right? So let's try this on our envelope wreath. I want to lay it on like this to make it look like the envelope is open. Kind of have the corners match up to the corners up here. I decided to tack them in place so that I would remember exactly where they need to be when I go ahead and kind of attach everything else. And I want to do it like that, where it actually has an envelope pocket that I can fill with things for Valentine's Day decor. So to attach it, I'm going to be kind of careful, but what I'm doing is I'm going to hot glue it to the wire wreath form, but I made sure to only use a little bit of hot glue. I don't want that soaking through the fabric on the front of the envelope because you might be able to see that. You know how hot glue can look kind of crusty on the fabric. So I did use more hot glue at the top where I had the other things there to glue it to. On this side, I had a little bit excess fabric, not much, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to glue it to the cage, kind of pulling it taut for the fabric, and also doing it up here at the very top. And I kind of had my corners tacked in place. I do want to remove any excess material, though, so you won't be able to see any of that, and kind of tack down the ribbon to pull the corners taut. That part is really important, so you don't have like sagging of your fabric there. For the bottom, I did not have really a lot of excess fabric. I'm just going to glue it to itself here to kind of make some square corners, and I'm just going to simply fold it up and glue it to the cage, trying to pull it taut as I can go. As you can see, mine did have a little bit of wiggle room with it, but it was pretty forgiving. Now, I didn't really like how flat the wreath was looking. I decided I wanted to look a little bit more 3D. So I'm just going to slightly stuff mine with some polyfill. So just using small pieces, I just start kind of scattering them all over the inside of our pocket there. And so it'll stick out a little bit and it'll make it make more sense. I'm just trying not to use too much. I don't want it to look like a stuffed envelope, perhaps. I just want it to look a little bit fuller. But then I kind of forgot that I didn't have a back down here on the bottom of the wreath. So that's okay. We'll just give it a back. And I had that extra cutting board from the Dollar Tree. That is just the perfect size. I don't have to cut it or anything. I just put hot glue around all four sides and glue it on there. It glued everything together, gave me kind of a finished back. If you want yours to be pretty on the back, you could always cover that with a material too if you don't want to be able to see through that. I think it's fine just as is. And then again, I'm going to use that same ribbon to kind of map out the rest of the envelope. I don't have enough of it to go around all the edges, like the outside edges. That would be pretty if you do. But actually, I don't even think it was really necessary. I think it looks fine just like this. So I just glue it from one corner to the middle section that we cut down. Flip it over and do the same thing over here, just using hot glue to attach it to that beautiful like crushed velvet material. I think that's so lush and pretty. And if you leave a little bit excess on there, it's good because you can kind of tuck it underneath with some hot glue. I was trying to see if I had enough stuffing. Maybe I need a little bit more here, just to make it kind of even and full. And we can go ahead and start filling this. I wanted to have like greenery and fun things for Valentine's Day that would come out of a Valentine's Day wreath. And I found these great like white glitter heart picks from the Dollar Tree that have baby's breath on them. I think they're perfect. They have a total of 5 hearts. And so I'm just going to sit that down inside the little envelope that we created. And then I thought, since I used that red plush fabric, that these little felt flowers from the Dollar Tree, the red roses, would be so pretty. So they come in 2 different sizes. I'm just going to kind of stagger them like that. I think 5 is going to be enough. And then I thought that I would add some more baby's breath because the little heart picks had baby's breath, but they didn't have very much. So I do have a sprig of baby's breath from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to add that as well for the greenery. I mean, not a lot of greenery, just the leaves that are on the baby's breath and the hearts. And then there's like I guess the greenery on the felt flowers as well. I'm just cutting these into individual pieces, kind of scattering them around. I think I may have used this baby's breath for something else because it wasn't super full. But I think that looks really pretty. And the white sparkly hearts, I do want them to kind of stay in place. So I just tacked down 2 of them with some hot glue. And then we're going to kind of intermingle the little red felt roses in between. I just use hot glue to attach those down. I guess you could always use red roses for this as well if you had some smaller ones to DIY with. And then just glue them all down. I think that looks really pretty. Now for the message on the inside of the envelope, like when you open an envelope, I wanted mine to have a message. And I found this great love iron-on at Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. It's so much bling. It's like white pearls, so pretty, and it's the perfect size. I'm just going to use hot glue to attach mine and put it right here on the inside of the envelope. Then for a seal for the envelope, I found these great ornaments at the Dollar Tree. I thought these would be perfect. They say from Cupid mail delivery, and they have a little Cupid on them, and it's just the right size for a little seal like you would see on the outside of an envelope. I'm just going to cut off the hanger on that and attach it right where all of the ribbon comes together. It'll kind of clean up that part of it as well. I attach it with some hot glue, and the only thing I didn't like about it is it's not near as blinged out as the love that we added to the top. So I decided to bling mine out a little bit. I had some of the little white pearl stickers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use hot glue instead of just using the stickers themselves. So make sure it stays on. Since this is going on my front door, those stickers aren't real strong on their own. So I just used a little hot glue and went around the very border so you could still read it, but it added a little bit of bling to the seal to kind of make it go with everything else because everything is so opulent and fancy on this love letter wreath. And this is how it turned out. I was so happy with it. I love seeing a good idea come to fruition. It is so sparkly and pretty. Let me give you a little bit of a closer look of how it turned out. I love the red and white colors for Valentine's Day, and the gold glitter on the back of the envelope gives it a nice contrast. And I think it turned out pretty good, even though it's a square shape instead of a rectangle. And you really can't get appreciation for how sparkly this is. So I wanted to give you a little video footage of how sparkly that glitter placemat is from the Dollar Tree. I love it. I hope you do too. Be sure to hit the like button on today's video if you're enjoying my content. It always helps my videos do better. Up next, we have more love letter Valentine's Day DIYs. For this one, I decorated my coffee bar for Valentine's Day with a love letter theme. I think it's so sweet, and I hope you enjoy these DIYs. Now, you guys have seen me like remake this sign that I got at Goodwill like maybe 10 times, but hey, we're going to do it again. This is the perfect size sign for the top of my coffee bar, and so I thought we could redo this. We had it all decked out for gingerbread for Christmas, which turned out really cute. Now, I normally take this sign and I hand paint it, but for Christmas, we tried just using some vinyl lettering. Now, I used a little heat and they were easy enough to pop off, but it did leave a little bit like of a gummy texture residue on there. I probably should have used like some Goo Gone or something on there because sanding didn't quite seem to get it as good as I wanted it. So I just covered it up with a couple more coats of red because I'm going to keep it red for Valentine's Day. The theme of all of the DIYs today is going to be love letters for Valentine's Day. Now, don't worry if you don't have a coffee bar. You could always do any of these Valentine's DIYs for just regular decor or for a tier tray. That would work out really well too. So I did go over it with a couple of coats of red to try to cover up the writing on there. You can still kind of see it. Now, I kind of found a center point there, and I'm just using a straight edge and a white paint pen. I could not find my ruler, so I'm just using some craft wood from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make 2 straight lines with a little point here in the middle. And my plan here is to make this sign look like a giant love letter for Valentine's Day. So we have the top part of the envelope. And now I'm just kind of trying to estimate where the bottom folds of the envelope would be and doing the same thing. I finally remembered to order white paint pens on Amazon. So I got like 3 different kinds so I can test them out for you guys. I'll be sure to put my favorites in my Amazon shop in case you need some. Now I kind of want the top part of the envelope line to be a little bit wider than the bottom one. But I'm just going to kind of go over them again just to kind of make them pop a little bit more. And I think that looks really cute. Any kind of rectangular sign would be really easy to make look like an envelope. And I like the pop of red against my white wall. It's going to look really cute for Valentine's Day. Now, I wanted to do like a sticker, a heart sticker for an envelope. So I was trying to find a heart just the right size. And this middle heart in this wood sign from the Dollar Tree was perfect. So I want to DIY it a little bit though and make it look kind of fancy for Valentine's Day. And I'm going to cover it with one of these little burlap bags from the Dollar Tree. Aren't these great? They have like burlap on the outside and they kind of have like a plastic coating on the inside. So it's really easy to cut and it doesn't fray at all. So this was cool. This is the first time I've crafted with these, but I did pick up several of these at the Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to use my little wood heart as a template. You can use whatever you've got, whatever size works for you, or a heart is pretty easy to design yourself if you don't have the little wood heart. But I just drew that on there and then I'm just going to cut it out. See how well this cuts? I was really impressed with this burlap bag. I also got some of the white cotton bags too. I thought I might be able to craft with those as well. So that looks pretty good. I wasn't sure how to attach it, whether I should use Mod Podge because it's kind of got like a plastic underlining to that burlap, but I went ahead and tried it. And I just put a fairly thick coat of Mod Podge on there and that worked perfectly to glue the burlap to our little heart sticker for our envelope. Now there were a few places that I didn't get it perfect, so I'm just trimming it up a little bit. And then I thought it was a little plain, so I thought we could dress it up a little bit. So I'm going to use one of these little wood hearts from the Dollar Tree, one of these little ornaments. It's got all the little heart cutouts. I thought it would be kind of ornate to do something fun on top of it, just to make it look like a fancy seal on our love letter. I'm going to go through and distress it just a little bit of ivory with some acrylic. The colors I really want to work with today are red and white and some wood or natural colors like this burlap. After I get it painted ivory, I do go in and lightly distress it with just a little bit of Antique Wax by Waverly in one direction, just to bring out some of that great detail on that wood cutout. And that's how it looks right now. So now all I need to do is attach that to the burlap heart, and I'm just going to do that with a little bit of hot glue. And this sign was really easy to put together. I'm not going to put any words or anything on there. I thought about having a little message on there, but I kind of liked the simplicity of it with just the little heart sticker. So here's our little envelope sign that we painted, and then we can seal it with our little burlap heart. And I'm just going to attach that with just a little bit of hot glue, because your girl's going to be remaking this sign. It's the best $2 or $3 that I ever spent. And I just glue that on. This has got hangers on the back. I already have a place for it on my wall. Now, it was a little too red, so I thought maybe it might disguise some of that residue that was still on there from the lettering if I distress it. And I like distressing anything. So I just used ivory and a chunky brush from the Dollar Tree and went all over, kind of wiping off the excess if I got too much with paper towel or a baby wipe. And I just go over it until I get the right level of distress. You probably should do this step before you put the heart seal on, but you know. Or you can just leave yours bright red. I think this turned out really cute. And this really got me started on this love letter theme for the coffee bar today for Valentine's Day. I'm so excited about Valentine's Day. It's always one of my favorite holidays to decorate for. Now, check out this heart that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's really cute. This wasn't with the Valentine's stuff. This was with like the regular like home decor. And it's like a white wood heart with like a wood heart. The white heart is like thicker and they kind of fit together like puzzle pieces. So I thought we could DIY something really pretty for Valentine's Day with these. So I'm kind of seeing how it's put together. And then I was wondering, can I get that paint off? Because I want to do something else than have that message on there. And so I'm using fingernail polish remover, and this is what it does. It kind of worked, but at the same time, it kind of smeared black all over the wood. So I definitely have to paint it. But it did do its job. I can paint over it easily without seeing those letters shine through. And I'm just using, I think this is candy apple red, just a bright red. And we're just going to go all over that. I like that wood grain on there even shows through the red paint. So it still gives you kind of that natural wood texture. Now on this heart, I thought that we would decorate the back of it. And I went in and designed an image. I will share it below. With the word love in cursive written all over it, just like in a brown color. I thought this was really cute. I kind of alternated where the words were. And this would be great to cover up any kind of heart. And it's going to go great with like the vibe of all of the Valentine's Day DIYs today. I did have to go over the red heart with another coat of red to kind of cover up that like black discoloring that we had going on there on the heart. And then I'm just going to use the little wood heart as a template and an ink pen and draw out the size of the heart. And then all I have to do is go in and cut it out. You know, I always think I'm going to do like print and cut on my Cricut. My Cricut, the little sensor in it never can see very well. I'm not sure if it's because I have bad lighting in my house. I don't know. But it always seems easier just to cut it out with scissors. Now I'm just going to Mod Podge this onto the heart. I just left the little piece with the little wood heart on the back. That way it won't interfere with anything and I don't have to worry about removing it. And then I'm just going to Mod Podge that on there. And I really love this design. I think it turned out really pretty. And if I forget to share a link to this design, be sure to remind me. I can usually share it on Canva, but if I can't, I will share it on our Facebook group. So I did have to sand off a few edges that I did have that were a little bit too large. And then I'm going to go over the top of the paper with just a little bit of Mod Podge as well. And you could always use any kind of scrapbook paper or anything like that that you have as well. But I really love this print. So I'm just trying to get everything dry. I thought maybe one more little heart detail would be cute. And I have some of these little craft board hearts from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to kind of leave it just that natural brown color. I think that is going to look pretty with the little heart that has the word love all over it. It's going to kind of match together. And I'm just going to attach that to the red heart with just a little bit of hot glue. And they just fit together like puzzle pieces like that. Isn't that the cutest thing? I think we gave it a great makeover, but I did want it to have like a little bit more texture and maybe some fabric with it. And so I am gonna just make a simple bow. I'm gonna use some of this burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and we're gonna kind of do like a little faux bow on here. So I just take some hot glue and then I just glue down it upside down about halfway. And then I'm just going to do like 2 little pretend loops over. I'm not actually going to tie it, but we're just going to kind of make it look like I tied it. Just attaching that with hot glue. So we have 2 little hoops and 2 tails. I'm going to trim that off even. And then that extra ribbon that I had, I'm just going to cut a little piece of that off to cover up the middle part of the bow. And it's going to give us a really cute faux bow. I thought that would be easier than trying to tie it. I didn't think it would come out very smoothly. And this came out with a perfect little bow. So I like that. And this is how it turned out. And now I think it's perfect. Look how cute that is. I think it's really like got a romantic vibe. I'm loving the colors. And I think that's going to look great on the coffee bar. Now, the next DIY, I also found this in like the home section, the home decor section, not necessarily the Valentine's, but it reminded me of like the Philly love sign. I'm just going to pop off the flower that was on there before and just kind of push the wood back down in the hole because it caused a little bit of damage to pull that out, just to flatten that out. Now, I really wanted this not to be white because my wall on my coffee bar is white, so I wanted to make it look like wood. So we're going to do a faux wood by just taking a dry brush, one of the chunky brushes from the Dollar Tree, with just a little bit of Antique Wax by Waverly on there and distressing it. I tried wiping some of it off with a baby wipe, which was probably too aggressive. Maybe a paper towel would be better. So I do go in here with a second coat. And as you can see, I'm just like working in one direction and I'm just giving it a faux wood grain. I'm going to leave the sides white. I like the fact that it's going to be like two-tone, but this really made it look really pretty. Now, whenever you do like a faux wood with the Antique Wax by Waverly, you have to dry it really good because if you touch it and it's still wet, it will mess it up. So make sure you get it good and dry before you touch it or decorate. And then I'm going to use one of these little red wood stickers from the Dollar Tree to replace the little flower. And this is just going to be a very simple little sign. This would be really cute on a tier tray as well. And we have a little love sign. Now I distress it very lightly with just a little bit of ivory and just a dry brush, just because you know I like distressing things. And it's going to kind of make it go with the vibe of the other DIYs we're doing today. And this is going to look great up on the top shelf. I have two shelves on my tier tray and they are both like a wood color, kind of similar to this. And I think it's going to look great up there. Now, these are the Valentine's Day stacked books. I really like the size on these. They're a lot bigger than the little wood crates that you can get from the Dollar Tree to make stacked books. And I thought stacked books would be really great for this Valentine's Day coffee bar, and this would be really great for a tier tray as well. Now, I got these last year and tried painting them, and I used chalk paint, and it was like a whole deal. They did not paint the greatest. So I'm going to use just acrylic. And my strategy this year is I'm just going to try to do thin coats. So I do like the thinnest coat imaginable here because I kind of want to cover that all up. I want to make these books like my red and white theme and a little bit of a wood thrown in there as well. So I'm just going over it with a couple of coats until I have kind of a clean canvas using one of those Cricut weeders if I get any paint down in the cracks. And that worked. It didn't turn out perfect, but on the sides, I did go a little bit heavier on the paint, and I did get it to work pretty well. It just, I don't know. I think it's because it's covered with paper, and I do go ahead and do the top as well because I have plans for that, and I don't want any of that color shining through. So we just kind of have a blank white canvas. Now, I want to make the middle stacked book look like wood. So we're going to do the same exact technique that we just did on the little love statue, just with a chunky brush and some Antique Wax by Waverly. I'm not going to tape it off or anything. It's pretty big. I think I can kind of stay in the lines here. And I'm just going to work it in one direction and then wipe off the excess with a paper towel. And it's going to give me kind of like a cute little faux wood grain. So I'm going to do that on both sides of my book. And then I'm going to do it on the front. I thought on this book stack, I would make it look like two red books and a wood book like in between or brown. And I just want it to be covered in like, you know, our colors that we're using today for the Valentine Love Letter tier tray. So I do the same thing here with the front, trying to clean up if I get too much on any of the other books. because I want to go back and paint those red. So just like the love letters, make sure you get that really dry before you touch it, because that antique wax takes a while to dry when you go over paint. Now I'm just using that candy apple red acrylic paint and a foam brush, and this was really easy to paint, and you don't have to worry about taping it off and causing any damage to the paint if you're just kind of a little bit careful with your straight lines. So I'm going to do that on the bottom book and the top book all the way around. We're going to transform this little book stack and make it look really cute. Have you DIY'd these before? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. Last year when I tried to paint them, I was so excited that I was just like, oh my gosh, these paint so poorly. But this year, I don't know, I had a lot better luck. And I don't want it to look perfectly red. I kind of want it to look a little distressed. So one coat is definitely enough on that. And then I'm going to write a message on here with my white paint pen. I turned it over so I got a really fine tip. And I'm going to give my best Ray Dunn font. If you look at this lettering, if you like this lettering, it's really easy to learn. They're long, skinny letters with like short crossbars. And I have enough Ray Dunn in my house that I think I know exactly what it looks like. So I'm just going to sketch that on there. If you're not confident with that, you could always use stickers or your Cricut to make little letters for that. But I'm just going to have the book say, P.S. I love you. I thought that would go great with our Valentine Love Letter theme. Now I'm going to cover the top of it with some of this tissue paper. This is just white tissue paper with red hearts that I got at Target. I thought it'd be fun to do some DIYs with, and I thought that could be like the front cover of the top book. So I'm just going to cut out a piece that's larger than the top of the book, and then we're simply just going to Mod Podge that on. Whenever you Mod Podge with tissue paper, you got to be really careful. My secret is usually to use as little Mod Podge as possible, just a very, very thin coat. And you just want to try to avoid wrinkles as much as you can. So I'm just going to try to put it on there as flat as I can and smooth that out. I did get like a couple wrinkles, but I could smooth them down pretty well. Just smoothing them down with my fingers. Make sure your fingers are dry. You don't want to tear that tissue paper. And then I go in with a little heat to dry it, and then a sanding block. It's so easy to sand a perfect little line along the edges whenever you work with the tissue paper. It gives you a great texture too, that papery texture for the top of the book. And then I'm going to do a very thin coat on top just to make sure that it is down and sealed. And I think this is definitely easier than the crates or trying to make your own book stack. And that's how it turned out. Now I want to tie them together like a stack of books. So I'm going to use that same burlap ribbon that we used for the bow on the little hearts to kind of tie that in together. Just cutting out a piece to go on the front, the top, and the back. I'm not going to wrap it all the way around because I want it to be flat on the bottom and to sit properly on my coffee bar shelves. If you haven't seen my coffee bar DIY video, I did it November of 2021. I went to Goodwill on their clearance day for furniture, and I got like a little armoire for like $12, and I DIY'd it into a coffee bar, and it turned out really cute. I used like removable wallpaper in a shiplap pattern for the back of it, and then I did little floating shelves from the Dollar Tree to make the shelves, and then I painted and decorated the little cabinet. Like, it's got little sea turtle knobs, it's got twine, it looks really coastal and beachy, and then I secured that to the wall and built my own coffee bar. It was so much fun. So I'm just going to finish that off with a little wood heart. This one I'm just going to go ahead and paint ivory to kind of go with our color scheme and distress very lightly with a little bit of antique wax by Waverly on a dry brush. And there it is, our little Valentine book stack. P.S. I love you. The version I did last year was like a coastal theme. I'll have to post that one as well. Now check out this little gnome that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's got a pink hat, which I wasn't excited about because I wasn't using any pink, but we're going to let it slide because look how cute he is. He's holding a little love letter above his head, and how could that be any more perfect than a love letter theme? He was kind of my inspiration, maybe, behind this whole coffee bar. So I'm going to sit him on top of that book stack, and we're going to keep crafting. I found this little galvanized metal love letter at the Dollar Tree, and I thought this was going to be the perfect size. I'm just going to go ahead and take the hanger off, and it's got this great design, but I don't really want the metal. I want it to be like our color schemes of like the red, white, and brown. So I'm going to use the rest of that tote bag that we used to cover the heart on the love letter to cover it. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to Mod Podge this on. I didn't really want to use hot glue. I thought that would melt like the plastic lining on the inside of the burlap bag. And so it worked. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I'm just cutting out the fabric, and then I can cut that down and we can cover that up. I thought those metal ridges would still show through, and the little heart where it's all like, you know, sticking out of the metal. So I'm just going to use the little love letter as a template. And if you can't find this little galvanized metal love letter, you could do this with any kind of a rectangle, really. And then I'm just going to cut it out. I love cutting this stuff. I might have to pick up some more of these little burlap bags because you know I love crafting with burlap, and this has that look of burlap, but wow, it's so easy to use. So I thought if I Mod Podge that over, I can get, you know, the love letter parts kind of shining through a little bit. So I do a fairly thick layer of Mod Podge all over this. I know that, you know, whenever you're gluing to metal, sometimes it's weird, and I was worried this was going to be weird. The thing that I noticed is that I couldn't really use my heat gun to get in there because the bag was so thick, but I just kind of push it down as much as I can. Whenever it was starting to come up a little bit, I would push it down a little bit more there on top and make sure that it's secure. Now for the little heart sticker, I'm going to use another one of these little wood stickers from the Dollar Tree. It fits in there just perfectly to seal that off. And then I thought I would go ahead and paint that red to kind of go with our color scheme. Some of them are already red, but they weren't the perfect size, and this one really is. So just a little coat of red acrylic. And then I'm just going to attach that with hot glue. Now, I think it's really cute, but I was afraid. I actually took the sticker off there and glued it down without it, so it didn't stick out too much, but I kind of wanted to bring out the details of the little, you know, sides of the envelope. You could kind of see them, but kind of not. So I thought I would just use like a red Sharpie and kind of just go over that to kind of color the burlap a little bit right there at the different creases of the envelope. It just made it stand out a little bit. I am going to hang this on the wall behind my coffee bar, kind of like it's kind of like falling kind of to the side. And I'm just going to use some double stick tape on the back to do that. I'm not going to worry about reattaching the hanger because I don't want it to really hang straight. Now we have another DIY. I'm going to use some of these little Valentine's gift bags from the Dollar Tree. You get 2 in a package on this size. And I really liked this just brown like paper bag with the little red hearts on it. I thought we could make our own little cutting board with that. So I found this little cutting board at the Dollar Tree. And I thought it'd be really a fun size for the coffee bar and something that we could DIY and make it look really cute. Isn't that cute? I had never seen these before. So I'm just going to carefully untie the rope on it so that I can reuse that after I recover it. And this bag is just the right size and matches my colors today perfectly. So I'm just going to cut the front off the bag. You know I love crafting with gift bags. There's so many different things you can do with them. And if you get them at the Dollar Tree, they're super cheap. Now this was the only tricky part, was trying to get the handle off without ripping it. This is going to be the kind of the top where the handle is, so I'm not going to need a lot of paper there, so I think it's going to be okay. Now, the only thing I was worried about was that little bit of crease in the bag, whether that was going to be visible, but it actually turned out pretty good. So I'm just going to flip it over and use the little cutting board as a template and draw that out. And then I can just go in and cut it out with scissors. And you guessed it, we're just going to Mod Podge this gift bag onto that little cutting board and do a really cute decorative little cutting board for Valentine's Day. I always like trying to throw in some coffee items, some kitchen items, anytime that I'm working on a tier tray or, like a coffee bar for the kitchen. So I cut it out to size. I'm just going to cover the side with the writing on there because this is a really thick bag. I don't have to worry about seeing the writing through it. You're definitely not going to be able to see through that bag. And so I'm just going to do like probably a medium layer of Mod Podge on here, making sure I get everywhere. And then I'm just going to stick that bag on there and smooth out, especially the like little crease there in the middle. Make sure I get it on there just perfectly and smooth and tight. I also use my scraper to try to make sure that I don't have any wrinkles, and I just want a smooth cutting board surface on there. And isn't that cute? I love it. That's just a very kind of neutral design, but it's got the bright red heart. It's super cute. I do go around and sand it a little bit to make sure I don't have any paper hanging over the edges at all. And then I'm going to go over the top of it with another coat of that matte Mod Podge from the Dollar Tree. I love those little bottles because you don't have to worry about them drying out. If something happens, they don't get closed, properly. I've wasted so many big packages of Mod Podge because it gets all yucky. And then I'm just using a razor blade to cut out like the little center hole there in the cutting board. And then I'm just going to use like a pen to kind of round that out, try to get any of the paper off that shouldn't be there, and that worked pretty well. Now, I thought it was really cute. I'm going to go ahead and reattach the little rope that came on it, but your girl's going to have to DIY it a little bit more. I thought we could try to, go with a love letter theme, and I found these little mirror stickers at the Dollar Tree, just like in the regular decal section at my store. They weren't necessarily Valentine's Day, but how perfect are they? They have the little kissy lips and they have the XOXO. So at first I was just going to do the XOXO. I do go back and end up using the lips as well. I don't want them to be that mirror finish though. I wanted to go with our color scheme, the red and white. And so I'm just using some ivory paint and we are just going to paint these. The mirror part does kind of shine through. So if you're going to paint these, make sure you give them a couple of coats to get pretty good coverage. Once I get them painted, I'm going to peel them off. And they're just little stickers, so they're perfect to craft with. Making sure I don't have any paint overhanging. And then I'm going to use hot glue to make sure that it doesn't fall off. I'm not just going to rely on the sticker. And we're going to glue our first little XOXO here. They're actually two separate little pieces. This one I kind of went a little crazier on painting, obviously. But I'm just using my little Cricut weeder to get off any of the excess paint. And then we're going to glue this one right next to it. So we've got like a little XOXO theme. And then I decided, I should use the lips as well. So I'm going to go through and paint them exactly the same way. Just with a little ivory acrylic, just kind of working in one direction. And I get all of my brushes and everything like that from the Dollar Tree. And they actually had these little paint holders as well, which are great. Less cleanup. You got like maybe 5 or 6 in a package. Pretty cute. So we got our little lips painted. Gonna make sure none of the holes are covered up with any excess paint. And then we can attach that to our cutting board too. And I thought this was just really fun and simple. I really like the size of it. It's kind of the perfect size. I'm also going to hang this one on the wall because like between my two shelves, I kind of have a lot of room and I kind of want to kind of layer things and make everything look really full. So we're going to hang this little cutting board on the wall, little XOXO. The only thing I didn't like about it is I thought it was a little too clean, a little too perfect. And, I like to distress my DIYs. So I do go in here and just take a dry brush with some ivory and I just distress it very lightly, especially on the edges, wiping off any excess if I get too much on there, just to kind of rough it up a little bit. Kind of make it look old in Valentine's Day. Now it's ready to go on the coffee bar. I can't wait for you guys to see how this all turns out and looks together. So I got this little wood heart. It's actually on a skewer. I got this at the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. They had different shapes like stars, hearts. I thought the heart would be perfect for Valentine's Day. And I thought we could make a stand, and then I wanted to use one of these dish drying mats from the Dollar Tree. I thought we could make like a stuffed red heart, like, on a stand. I've seen those for sale, and I thought we could DIY it ourselves. And that drying mat is like kind of stuffed, so I thought that would be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and just stain the little dowel and the wood block. This is a giant Jenga block from Five Below with just some antique wax by Waverly because those are going to be visible. Now, I was going to go in. You see my drill. I've got my biggest drill bit on there. It was not big enough to drill a hole. Like the rod, the dowel is really big on that heart. So I decided to cut it in half and kind of go with the plan B. And I was like, how on earth am I going to get this in here if I can't drill a hole that big in it? So my solution was just to cut it off a little bit shorter, and we'll just attach it to the top of the wood block with hot glue. That will weigh down the bottom, and it'll make it, stand up good. So I do have to go in and stain the exposed side because I did cut it down a little bit. And then we are just going to upholster this heart to make our little stuffed heart. If you can't find this, you could always use a dowel and then like stuff the middle of the heart with some pillow fluff or something like that. That would work. But I've always seen these drying mats. I've never crafted with them, but I've always been curious what they'd be like. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. So what I'm going to do is just lay my heart on there. And then I'm going to make my heart like maybe an inch bigger. That way I have extra material to glue that around the sides to make it look like a big stuffed heart on a dowel. So there's our first piece. It kind of has like a foam fluffy stuff in between the two layers, but it all stays together. It's all glued flat, so you don't have to worry about it falling apart. So once I get my first one cut out, I can go in and use that as a template to cut out the other heart for the back. I love the color of this and the texture. I think it turned out really fun. I'll have to save the rest of that drying mat to use for some other Valentine's DIYs. So my plan is to kind of sandwich it in there like that and then go around the sides. If you're a sewer, you could always sew this step, but I'm not really. I'm a hot gluer, so I'm going to hot glue this just by doing the top part of the heart first, gluing that together. Now, I don't know if fabric glue would be faster or slower because I did have to pinch that a lot to make it stay together. Like, as you can see, it just kept wanting to separate. So I just kept pinching it together before the hot glue dried because I'm like, oh, no, this isn't going to work. And I almost gave up, but I'm glad I didn't because it turned out really cute. So I just kept pinching it until I finally got it stuck. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on both sides of the heart. Just really pinching and holding that together because it was resistant. It did not want to glue together. But in the end, I won. So we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Now, as you can see that like white material, that fluffy stuff that's in between the two layers of the drying mat. And I didn't really like that, so I am going to finish that off. I just have a scrap piece of like the thinner brown rope from the Dollar Tree, and I thought we could just glue that all the way around. It's going to give it a finished touch. It's going to hide all that white stuff that's in there. It was the perfect width. So just starting at the bottom of the heart, I'm just going to hot glue a section at the time and go all the way around our heart with that rope. And that worked out perfectly because it goes with our color scheme as well. And it really kind of helped highlight it. I thought this would be a nice tall piece for my coffee bar. Kind of put it in the back and it can kind of poke out. and display a heart above some of our other little Valentine's DIYs today. Now that middle section, I found I did kind of have to push that down in there to make sure it kept its shape. And then I'm just going to go all the way down to the pole with that rope, gluing that together, and that was the perfect solution to that problem. And this would be really cute in any kind of fabric, but I love the fact that I didn't even have to stuff it because that drying mat was nice and plush. So now I'm just going to use hot glue to attach it since I could not drill it out. And you just kind of have to hold it on there for a while to make sure your hot glue sets up. And that's how it turned out, our little upholstered heart on a stick. I love it. I also got a star one I thought we could use maybe for the 4th of July. Hey guys, I have a private Facebook group. I would love to see you over on Facebook. I also have a Facebook page if you wouldn't mind following me over there. And I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And I'm Crafty Beach on YouTube, and you know I'm on all of them. And I would love to have you over there. Okay, our next DIY, I picked up one of these little mail trucks from the Valentine section at the Dollar Tree, and I thought we could make this cuter. So I'm just going to work on the back. That way I don't have to worry about any of the paper and glitter and stuff that's going on the other side. I wanted this to kind of go with our, like, you know, wood, red, and white theme, something that would go with our love letter theme. So I'm going to use a little Goo Gone on that sticker on the back just to make sure I don't have any residue left over. And we're going to DIY this. I also redid this last year. I did like a little Cupid's fish market, I think. And I did a little fish on top. I'll have to repost that. That was really cute. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in with some ivory, and we're going to do a coat of ivory all over. You know, I love those chunky brushes from the Dollar Tree, but man, sometimes like all of the bristles fall out. This was one of those such brushes. So I'm going to go all over it with ivory, just distressing side to side like that, because what I want to do with this wood truck is I kind of want it to look like it's made out of wood too, like we did with the little love letters. So I'm kind of giving it a white base coat so that we can give it a faux wood grain. So again, just going in with a chunky brush and Antique Wax by Waverly, working in one direction, we're going to give a faux wood grain and make this truck look really cute. So you don't want to do too much, but you want like different shades of brown, and you want to make sure you work in one direction. And then I just go over it with a paper towel, take off any of the excess. That's going to help it dry a little bit faster too, because that step's kind of tricky. So once I get it good and dry, we can keep decorating this cutie. I thought I would just use black paint pens and just draw on the tires. Couldn't be any easier. It's basically a really thick circle, and if you leave the other side intact, you can kind of use that as a reference to draw your truck back on. I'm not going to give it a lot of details. I'm just going to kind of give it the major details that it needs, like wheels. My black paint pen was not playing nice, but I finally got it to work. Now, I also want to draw like the cab section of the truck on there, but I don't want to go too crazy. I'm going to kind of outline it a little bit here with a Sharpie where I think a window would be. And that doesn't show up too much. I'm going to go in then with a red paint pen, kind of go over that, kind of draw the window on, using the other side for reference. That's what the window would look like. And then there's kind of like a section between the cab and the bed of the truck. And then kind of a door kind of up around the wheel well. That's about all the detail that's going to get. Now, once I get it all painted, I'm going to distress it a little bit with ivory to kind of give it a rustic touch. I'm just going over everything that I've painted so far. I'm going to put some words on there, but I wanted to go ahead and distress it first so that I don't mess that up. So I just wipe off any excess with a paper towel, and we have a cute little wooden mail truck. And then I'm using my new little white paint pen, And going in and doing some ray-done letters, we're going to do the word love and then the word letters. So it's going to look like just a little mail truck full of love letters. This was so easy, and I think it goes really well with our love letter theme. And it makes sense that a mail truck would be full of love letters. And I just like the simplicity of it compared to the other side, which was kind of loud. And I'm going to go over that with another coat to really make those letters pop, and I'm loving those new paint pens. Now for the door, I'm just going to use a little red felt sticker of a heart from the Dollar Tree, just one of the small ones. I thought that'd be a cute little decoration on the door of the mail truck. And there it is, our little love letter truck. Super easy, super cute, and it's actually two-sided. That's going to look great on the top shelf of our tier tray. And then I also found this kissing booth at the Dollar Tree. How cute is that? It's almost perfect. The only thing is it has pink stripes. I'm not really using pink. I thought we could like maybe add a little bit of texture and a little bit of simplicity to this, but I love most of it. So I thought I would just cover the bottom part of the kissing booth sign with some more of that burlap from that same bag that we've been using for our DIYs today. That's going to tie that burlap into those other projects and go with our color scheme. The only problem is you can kind of see through it. So I'm going to go over that part with some white acrylic to kind of mask the dollar for our kisses and all that kind of stuff that was on there before, and the hearts and the stripes. I don't mind if some of the stripes peek out from above. And I love the little garland that they have like hanging in the window. Super cute. And the writing on there that says kissing booth. So I just go over that with a couple coats of white until you can't see that anymore. And then we're going to cover that with the burlap. And then I thought like one of these little wood lips from the Dollar Tree would be really cute on there as well, since it's a kissing booth. I'm trying to decide what color, and I think probably red. Some bright red lips on the front. It was really cute to start with. I'm just trying to make it kind of go with the rest of these DIYs and just give it a little something extra. I'm not a big fan of the glitter on the heart, so I'm going to go over that with some red paint just to kind of tone that down a little bit. I'm not going to replace them or anything. They're the perfect size. And then we can just put this little kissing booth together. I'm going to use a Mod Podge again on the plastic side of that burlap bag. You guys are going to be on the lookout for these bags now. It's so easy to craft with. I've got some faux burlap on Amazon before that was kind of the same kind of texture. And then we can just put our little lips on the front of it as well. Just gluing those down with a little bit of hot glue. And kind of angling them to the side a little bit. Super cute little kissing booth. I'm also going to distress them lightly with a little ivory and a little dry brush. And the little hearts on there as well. Kind of make it look a little rustic. They had this in pink too. I did pick up the pink one as well. If you've watched my shopping hauls, you know I couldn't resist. They were so cute. I'll have to use the other one on a tier tray. Now I thought for a few finishing touches, I could use some of these little thumbtacks from the Dollar Tree. They're silver, and I'm kind of just do them as like little rivets on the corners of the fabric, just to provide another interesting little fun texture on there. And just hammering those all in. And we have a little kissing booth for our coffee bar. So cute. Okay, I found this little coffee creamer at the Dollar Tree the other day. I picked it up because it was white and pink. Now, the only pink I have is that gnome, so I thought we could tie a little bit pink in, but I did also want the little coffee creamer to have a little red, so I'm going to use some of this red and white gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This is kind of the shinier one. And I'm just going to cut a piece that's going to go around, and it can be like at the border between the white and the pink. It's going to provide just a little bit of fabric texture, a little bit of color. just a little bit of fun. And I want to decorate this coffee creamer. I kind of want to make it functional as well. So once I get the ribbon on there, I thought we could kind of display one of these little wood bead hugs hearts from the Dollar Tree, just kind of spilling out of it like that. I thought that would be a really cute way to display it. But again, I also wanted it to kind of serve a purpose on my coffee bar. I'm going to put this on the lower shelf, and I thought it could display the little coffee stirrers. Check out these coffee accessories. I got these at the Target dollar spot, and I thought they was going to be perfect for a Valentine coffee bar. It was $3, and it includes like the little napkins, the little sleeves for your coffee cups, and the little coffee stirrers. So these are perfect and functional, all of these. So I love them. See the little sleeves? They say love is brewing. Perfect for Valentine's Day. And I did get the cups that go with this at the Target dollar spot as well. And the little napkins say all you need is love and coffee. And they're the perfect size napkins for the coffee bar. I'm just going to lay these on my coffee bar. Not a whole lot of those. And then the little red heart coffee stirrers. And all of those were $3 at the Target dollar spot. So I thought this would be the perfect holder for the little coffee stirrer. So we're just going to pile those all in there. And they're decorative and functional. So win-win. I love how that turned out, our little coffee creamer. I love all the little pieces together there. And then I also got these mugs at the Target dollar spot. The white one says all you need is love and coffee. The red one has white hearts all over it. Both mugs together are $5. They're not like a really large oversized mug. They're kind of the perfect size mug. And they stack, which is super cute. So if you wanted to display them like that, stacked, it's going to save you some storage, and they look really cute stacked as well. So there's the little white one. And then here's the little red one. Aren't they sweet? And they go perfectly with our colors for our Valentine's Day coffee bar. I love it. The little red one with the hearts, they're actually like textured hearts on the stoneware as well. Aren't they cute? And it matches those little napkins that say all you need is love and coffee. Now I'm going to use the red one to hold the little sleeves for my coffee cups. Those are important because on those paper cups, you definitely can burn your hand if your coffee is too hot. So I thought it'd be a cute way to display those, and they'll be functional. And I'll just sit the napkins, I think, on my coffee bar. I don't think they really need a holder or anything like that. And then I'm going to fill up the other one and kind of make a floral arrangement with it. I'm going to use one package of these red felt flowers from the Dollar Tree. These are so pretty. They're in the Valentine's Day section. They're like different sizes. They're just the right size, I think, to fill this up. Now to fill up the cup, I'm just going to use some tissue paper just to fill up the volume. And then I'm simply going to just lay these in there. That way it doesn't destroy the cup, and I can still use the cup as well later down the road. So we have a little coffee mug full of roses for Valentine's Day, and it says all you need is love and coffee, and I agree. Super cute, super easy. And these are the little cups I was talking about from the Target dollar spot. They're $3, and you get quite a few. They have little white plastic lids. And I love collecting coffee mugs, but your girl is usually on the go, and I have to have a coffee in my hand. So can't have too many of these little cups. I might buy another package of these from the Target dollar spot if I see them, because they're perfect. And how cute are they? And I'm just going to sit those on my coffee bar because your girl's going to be using those for sure. Now, over the years, I've collected Ray Dunn Valentine's mugs. So I have the little white and red Be Mine. I got, I think, probably at TJ Maxx. I found this one at Goodwill, a little light pink #love one. And I have a little rack below my coffee bar that holds 4 mugs, and I have 4 Valentine's Day cups. So perfect. The other 2 that I've collected, this one says Soulmate in gold on it. And then the other one is red and it says Be Mine. And they're all very different. So I think it's going to be a cute little variety of those, hanging those on my little bar that I hang my little mugs on. Now I wanted to make a banner for the front of the 2 shelves to tie it all together for our Valentine's Day coffee bar. And I'm just going to use a piece of this craft wood that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's fairly thin. And I thought we could cut this down into some love letters to make like a little wooden love letter banner. I thought that'd be really cute. And so I'm going to measure these out about every 3 inches. I'm going to cut this, and we're going to have just some 3 little love letters to put on the garland. Broke out my power saw. It cuts pretty good. Just sanding any splinters off the edges, and now we can paint these. My shelves are wood, so I thought it'd be cute if they were white. Since my big red love letter I did in red, I'm going to do these love letters in white, actually ivory. I'm just going to go over them just on the front with just some ivory acrylic and paint our little envelopes white. And the envelope for love letters and Valentine's Day, I mean, such an easy design. Anybody could put this together. This could be a great project for kids as well, if you had some helpers in the house. So I got them all painted white or ivory. So I'm just going to go in with a little heat to dry those. And then I'm going to draw like a little pattern on them as well to make them look like an envelope. So I'm just using an ink pen with some black ink. And I'm just kind of estimating how to draw it, because I don't know where my ruler is. I think somebody ran off with it from my craft station. So that one looks pretty good. So I'm going to kind of use that for reference. Just kind of doing a dot in the middle and then working from there. An envelope design is really easy to draw on there. And I'm not going to go over that with a paint pen or anything. I just like the little fine details of the pen. And then I'm going to use some of those little tiny red felt stickers, heart stickers from the Dollar Tree for the little stickers to seal those all off. How cute and easy are these? You could also scatter these around if you didn't want to make like a garland. So cute, just peel and stick. So I want to do like 2 garlands. I want to do a love letter garland for the top shelf. And then I want to do like a simple garland for the bottom as well. And I'm going to do that with, I found this really cute like heart lace at the Valentine section at Dollar Tree. And basically I'm just going to do a garland with just that. I think it's very sweet, romantic looking. I'm going to go measure my shelf and then just cut this heart ribbon lace to size. Easy peasy. So I found out how long it needs to be. And I attach these to my front of my shelves with just a dot of hot glue. Every now and then I do get a buildup of hot glue, but it's easy enough to clean up. I think it's better than putting holes in my shelves. And then I'm going to use that for reference to make the twine for the love letters. So both garlands are going to be totally different, but I think they're going to complement each other nicely. I just fold my twine in half to find the middle. And I'm just going to attach it to the back of my love letters with just a dot of hot glue. And I am going to kind of measure to make sure that I get them kind of equal distance away from each other. So it doesn't look too crazy when I hang it up on my coffee bar. And these are going to be the final touches to my coffee bar. I can't wait for you to see how it turned out. And I'm going to go ahead and hang this. I like to hang it with just a couple dots of hot glue on each side. And this is going to be the last piece for this coffee bar. These DIYs could easily transition, to other areas of your home, but this is how my coffee bar looked for Valentine's Day. I think it's so cute. I love the love letter theme. I think it's very sweet, very classic Valentine's Day. And I'll have a final reveal for you in just a little bit, but I wanted to give you a little sneak peek here of how it turned out. I think it's really sweet. What do you guys think about this Valentine's Day DIY? Okay, it's now time for the final reveal. I hope you enjoyed these love letter Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs. I had so much fun putting them together for you. Be sure to check out my second channel, Crafty Little Beach, and let me know which DIY was your favorite down in the comments below. I always appreciate that. Okay, enjoy.
Nothing ever felt as good or as easy as when we were young. Oh, though I felt misunderstood, it was a pleasure running away with you. We were just children acting like a doll, crazy, naive, bold and carefree. We were kids having kids, crazy, naive. It amazes me that we didn't fall apart harder than we did. Now they keep us on speaking terms. We grow and we learn. I have no regrets, only forgets. Oh, a big thank you to life for giving us sand. Oh, when the timing's right, there's no wasteland. Oh, we were just children acting like adults, crazy, naive, bold and carefree.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of today's video. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Runn, Donna Schreiner, Live Another Day, Maren Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, and Donna Tanner. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for supporting my channel. If you would like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member too, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. You're going to get early ad-free access to my new videos. You'll get a loyalty badge next to your name, next to all of your comments, and a shout out in each video. It's $4.99 a month, and you're free to cancel at any time. Would you like more Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs? Be sure to check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting and happy Valentine's Day.